things might be neat. I dream of the joy when my collection is complete. Diamonds help me to dream. Rubies help me remember.
Welcome, Veda, to What a Gem. This is a podcast for stories that jewelry lovers will love. So I want you to introduce yourself and describe your company, a little bit about your jewelry. I'm just going to open it up and let you tell a little of your story.
Well, it's great being here, Lois. My name is Veda Kalro, and I believe Anamśa Designs, which is our company, is a collaborative mother-daughter jewelry brand where we focus on our artistry, heritage. We also focus more on human connection. My mother and I both come from a background of Montessori teaching, and that shaped our approach not only to creativity, but also honed in on our appreciation for design, creativity again, human connection. Our company's unique selling point, I would say, is that we make just one of every piece unless asked to make more. And that also in terms of bridesmaids, but we always alter the color. I would say that the idea behind our company was to use a blend of my mother's traditional, ways of artistry, like jewelry, heirloom jewelry, and a more modern touch that comes in from me. So I would say that describes our company really well. We conceptualize and design by ourselves, and we work with the production team in India very closely, and we creatively direct them through the entire process, through every stage, be it from the initial sketches and stone selection to then, the actual craftsmanship details and like the finishing techniques.
So you're
It's-
hands-on from multiple elements
Yeah.
of the show.
Absolutely. And I think it's just something that both of us have been so passionate about since the beginning. And it took shape in such a beautiful way because my parents live in India and I live here, and I've been here 15 years now. And I feel so much more connected with not only my culture and tradition, but with my mom as well.
Oh, that's
Such a
lovely.
beautiful project to do together.
That's lovely. Yeah, we're going to explore that some more too. So we met at the International Gem and Jewelry Show, which happens in Dallas in the spring and in the fall. I'm wearing one of your pieces that I bought there, and it's a statement piece for me. I mean, it's bold. And I think when we started talking, I said, I think that people like myself are interested in jewelry that you make, but some might feel intimidated that it's more traditional for weddings, or like you said, there's a heritage wrapped into so much of the design. But for me, I feel like I can wear this, whether it's casual or whether it's dressy. I think you called it the fusion bridge.
Yes.
Can you tell me more? What is the fusion bridge? And I really want to explore this.
Absolutely. I think a personal philosophy of mine when we started off with this business and I talked to my mom about it was jewelry's not meant to be intimidating. It's meant to be completely expressive. It's one of the ways that you can express yourself. Another thing that I really, really wanted to bring about is we're at a time where there's no rigidity as far as like jewelry wearing. There's no rules. Back in the day, if you had a statement piece, it was, I'm going to wear it to a wedding or like an event. But today, the way we want to style our pieces is versatility comes in. That's where versatility comes in, which is, we want you to be able to take a statement necklace like the one you're wearing, and you could as you're wearing with like a minimalist Western silhouette. You could wear it with a black dress. You could wear it with denims. You could wear it. We want that versatility to come in, and we want the rigidity to kind of go away. As far as the fusion bridge, another reason why I said what I said was we're trying to take traditional Indian artistry and blend it with modern elegance. To, we want to add to a contemporary, like, global fashion statement almost. Um, Back in the day, again, jewelry was worn to, as a form of adorning your outfit. But today, I feel like it's a statement. A woman or a man feels, um, the idea is for them to feel bold, to feel beautiful, to feel confident, and to express them in their own individual manner. So the design philosophy that we talked about before we started our first collection was we wanted to be a fusion bridge. We wanted to keep to a lot of our cultural and traditional values, but at the same time be versatile enough to be worn in different ways and make a statement nonetheless.
So are you seeing trends changing maybe with younger buyers or with more Western buyers that are not intimidated by, the size or the boldness because the beauty is there?
Right.
What are you seeing trend-wise?
I would say, as far as people that don't come from the same traditional background, for them to understand our jewelry and to not be intimidated and to actually wear it, I think one of the things that we're doing is we are making pieces that look heavy and that are statement like, but as you're wearing and as you can see, our jewelry is not heavy at all.
No, it's not.
So that's one thing that is appealing to the crowd. The other thing is, even amongst the brides and grooms within Indian culture, we are seeing a paradigm shift in the way that they're thinking. Jewelry, typically, real jewelry is heavy and very expensive. But I think the paradigm shift comes in terms of the youngsters believe in financial security, not in terms of the age-old thinking of gold and precious stones as an investment. They would rather invest their money in real estate. They would rather invest their money in the stock markets, versus jewelry that typically lays in the locker because they bring it out only for special events. And so we want to be able to provide them with the experience of feeling like they're wearing this jewelry while at the same time not putting a dent in their bank accounts, and they can use that money elsewhere. Um, and our jewelry, a little bit more about, our jewelry is, there is cosmetic jewelry and then there's imitation jewelry. Anamśa Designs falls under the umbrella of imitation jewelry, where our base metal is pure brass. There's no lead mixed in. Cosmetic jewelry typically is polished lead. Our jewelry is brass, and it takes so much better to the 2 grams of gold that we dip our jewelry in. We use imitation grade stones as well, again, which is basically, it emulates the richness that real gold, real diamonds, real like precious stones would. And we do custom real jewelry as well, on like, order basis. And so our workmanship is the same for both. That's where I think that we differ from others, is my factories that make our imitation jewelry are the same people that make our real jewelry as well. So we want there to be no difference as far as visually, seeing it.
Because the
Yeah,
skill of the
absolutely.
production,
Absolutely.
it can do either. So you get that high quality production
Yeah,
in either line.
absolutely.
So you're a designer and you're an entrepreneur. Uh, as an entrepreneur myself, I know that means you're having to wear a lot of different hats. And how did you approach this? Because you said you were a teacher, but you've had training in other fields as well.
Absolutely.
How have you approached the entrepreneur side of your business and and gaining the necessary skills there? Is that a family experience that you have, or is it learning as you go, which is the road I took?
Right, right. I think the shift from, um, my educational background, and, the fact that I was an educator myself for over a decade into this jewelry business was so organic in a way. I do have a background, you could say, in terms of like my family, my dad's entire side of the family, this business in our blood, from there, my mom's side of the family as well. So I feel like that for me was so natural because I've seen my parents, my mom being a teacher and following in her footsteps in that sense, and then my dad having multiple businesses under his, you know, ownership, and then how he's run all of his businesses and his take on so many things. So I think the best um teacher here would be experience. Like you
Mhm.
said, you go along. As you go along, you learn so much, and without having that formal, business background, this has just been so simple and organic, the shift. I do have a background in journalism, psychology, and literature. My undergrad degree is in that, and then I have a master's degree in communications. So I feel that absolutely helps me because journalism is nothing but storytelling. And the way I looked at it was when we started our brand, for me, jewelry making was just another art of storytelling. It's just more deeply visual, emotional, and cultural, but it felt the same way. And as far as teaching, again, Montessori teaching especially is you're such a keen observer. You're so focused on the child. You follow the lead of the child. So jewelry making, again, each piece for me was following a story. Um, the idea of, how this came about also is, I would say my biggest teacher has been travel. Within India, there's just so much cultural history there and so much rooted in our traditions. And for example, one of the examples I would love to give is the Taj Mahal. Everybody knows of the Taj Mahal in India, and the the workmanship that you can see,
Stunning.
in and around the Taj Mahal. We utilize a lot of that in a lot of our jewelry. There is, you have the kundan and polki work, it stems from the historical and royal families back in India back in the day. We have meenakari work, which is like intricate, like carving on enamel. So all of this, I think, incorporating it, but making it versatile enough that today anybody can wear it on anything. And the idea is to just see them light up with joy. I think that's the idea behind. And similarly, teaching, when a child grasps a concept, it was so beautiful to see their eyes just light up with this discovery, as in like, oh wow, like I got this. So I think the shift was, again, like I said, so
It just
organic
felt
and so
natural.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
So, are there particular motifs that you have as a favorite, like a design element or symbolism
Mhm.
that you say, "Yeah, I wanna work with this again"?
I think the peacock, I would say, it's not only the national bird, it's also so culturally integrated, religiously integrated. So a lot of the paisley designs come from the peacock, if you actually go to see. We also do a lot of temple jewelry. So the carvings on a lot of the temples, also carvings of like the gods and goddesses in India. For example, we do goddess Lakshmi, who is the goddess of prosperity and wealth. So when somebody picks up a piece that has a motif of goddess Lakshmi, they also feel like they're embodying like that prosperity and wealth. So, for example, during the Festival of Lights, which is Diwali, you'll have a lot more demand for something that has goddess Lakshmi in it. And I think, again, it just, like I said, jewelry is meant to tell a story one way or the other. And so, as far as motifs, I think sometimes it's just whatever I feel like incorporating, whatever I feel at that moment in time that I feel very close to, or I think of my grandmother. I think of, um, the times I had with her, some piece of jewelry that I saw her wearing, and then just incorporating that and make.
That can be an inspiration.
Yeah.
Do you ever design something and say, yeah, I'm keeping this. I don't want to give it up.
It's funny you asked that question because my first set of designs, I didn't want to part with anything. It wasn't about, for me, the business has never been about selling and making money as much as it is sharing my art, my culture, and sharing my experience with my mom. I think that if I could share that emotion with people and if they get it, I think I'm successful in what I'm doing versus like making money. A lot of I understand it's a business. It's meant
Right.
to, turn a profit, but the idea behind it is so beautiful. It's a legacy that I feel is being passed on, which someday I would like to pass on to my daughter as well. But yes, I'm glad I have my mom when it comes to me wanting to keep all of the pieces we design. She keeps me in line. She's always telling me like, no, it's about sharing your art. Um, I will say honestly though that I have kept a couple of pieces that the first pair of earrings that I designed back in my university days. And that was just something so spontaneous. It wasn't meant to be, for a business or anything. So that's about 17 years ago. I designed my first pair of earrings, and I've had people ask me if I'd redesign it for them, but I think that started my journey without me being conscious of it in a way.
So at that point, you weren't saying one day, it was just
No,
you could design, you did, and you created this, and that's lovely. That's lovely. So material-wise, are there particular stones or colors that you would prefer to go to? I mean, I know you have a plethora
Right.
of things. I mean, so your booth was a rainbow of stone colors, etc. But what's a favorite?
I think I'm personally very keen on pastels. And right now, if I were to give you an example of if I were to make a necklace, the earrings I'm wearing today, they're pastel pink. They go with my outfit, but I could wear them with multiple things. Temple jewelry traditionally the polish of gold that we use is the more antique gold. We do play around with like polishes in the sense of like matte polish or a more shinier polish. I veer more towards pastels and a little bit more of a contemporary line because, like I said, if I'm to go out, I'm meeting some friends for coffee, I would be able to change out of this outfit, put on a t-shirt and jeans, and go as is. I wouldn't have to change my earrings, and I would, be so happy to carry it off like that. Traditional Indian jewelry can pair very well with like temple jewelry, for example, can pair well with Western outfits as well, but it does go better with a traditional sari or, an outfit like I'm wearing. So I think I am more partial towards like a pastel palette because I feel it's neutral, but it's so versatile. As far as stones, again, I would say that certain stones go better with certain polishes. Again, with temple jewelry, antique gold, you want a duller gold. You want hues of rubies and emeralds versus like using other semi-precious and precious stones. So I think it just depends on, what the idea behind that piece is. But yes, I personally am more partial towards something that's more neutral and
Okay.
in the pastel palette.
So you travel a lot. You're getting ready to go back to India
In less than 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's tied, I'm sure, hopefully you get some good
Uh-huh.
family time, but
Yeah.
also because your production is there.
Right.
And then here you're traveling for shows and such.
Mhm.
Do you have design time while you're traveling, or do you partition your time where sometimes it's design and you just say, go away, rest of the world? Or how do you fit different parts of your job together?
I think I'm really fortunate again because of, having my mom as part of the process the entire step of the way. I think the way we've divided it between ourselves is she, like I said, focuses more on the more traditional pieces, the heritage and heirloom pieces, versus my pieces are more of like the modern contemporary pieces. So that I think in a way is such a relief that I don't have to do it all. I'm so thankful to my mom, and I wish she was here talking to you as well. Um, as far as like the production, obviously with my mom staying in India, she's able to have more hands-on experience with the workers, versus I deal more with the packaging and the quality control. And I think, we joke around about it. I pretty much run on India time. When America sleeps, I start my work, and so most of the time. So I think I get to work with her with them, so we're able to work together with our production team. Um, Depending on our collections, I think sometimes it's more work for me, sometimes it's more work for her. Um, and I would say, as far as like the creative process of actually designing, I do like my quiet time because I feel like my designs come more in stillness. But I have been known to be traveling and seeing someone wear something, but then want to do like a spin-off on that. And you'll see me quickly like jotting down notes and kind of just doing a rough sketch so that I don't lose that train of process. So I I would say that again, while I use a lot of softwares to do all of my designing, my mom still sketches by hand. And if I could someday show one of her sketches, she's just got such a beautiful hand. And I think her creative process works when she has like a pencil in her hand. And I'm more comfortable like working on like different softwares. So I think bringing all of these together, it never feels like I'm doing this by myself. I feel like she's actually the backbone of this company and of my sanity, because I'm able to, I have a younger daughter, and I think I have more responsibilities versus she's a retired teacher now, and she's just full time like looking after her grandchildren and helping me with the business. So I, I I'm just happy
She,
she's with me on this
she's
in
with
this
you there.
process. Yeah.
But yet your pieces, there's not a distinction. Like when I was looking at pieces, I would not have said, oh, these are designed by totally different people. There's still, to my eye anyway, a, a nice cohesiveness
Right.
through them. And so there's obviously some good tie there. It's not like, well, we'll put this line here, this line over here.
No.
Do you release like on a cycle, or is it a piece gets designed and it goes into production and things happen when they happen? Or
We try to keep it more seasonal. I do know that this past year we've branched out into doing bridal jewelry. That's a long process. So working with the brides can take up to 4 to 6 months sometimes, because I, usually have them give me their outfits, their color palette. We match certain pieces. I tell them to give me their vision board when it comes to the look that they're, looking to achieve. And I think it makes it easier to design based off of what they want. But I always tell them that where Anamsha Designs is always going to have its own sort of like spin in there. You'll never see something like we don't copy designs and say, oh, we'll make this for you because that's the real deal and you want something imitation. We always like to have our own sort of like ideas into the mix, and something different. We Anamsha, by the way, and I should have said this before, but it literally translates into unique, one without another. And so we want to make sure that when you wear a piece, know that you're not going to see exactly the same thing on somebody else.
That's really special.
Which is why I think the designing process for bridal jewelry can be a more long drawn process versus with, we have a summer collection that I will be going to just check on before it gets shipped out while I'm in India. And I'm going there to work on our collection for Diwali, which is one of the main festivals, within the Indian cultural spectrum. And so I do try to get in at least 3 or 4 collections a year. So that is a lot of work. Um, but I think it just depends on how intricate we want our pieces to be for that collection versus we want something a little bit more on the simpler side. And usually it's a blend. So again, I feel like it's it's equal amount of work for all of our collections. Diwali can be a little bit grander. So that collection has taken me time.
Okay. And that's traditional that it would be grander. So people are expecting that.
Yeah.
Okay. When you are designing a new piece for a bride, is it a very interactive process, or do you gather the information and then present something so that there's I know brides can be a challenge for all vendors and a joy.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's their day. Or when it comes to Indian weddings, it's a 7-day process typically. It's a lot of outfits to match jewelry for. Given that I've had 1 year doing bridal jewelry, we've been pretty lucky in the sense of I've had brides come in over a couple of days. They bring all of their outfits. We do have an in-house studio. So, they take an appointment, they come in, and it's been a 6 to 8 hour process per day with some
Wow.
of the brides because the outfits are so elaborate. And then you try on multiple, sets that we already have. And based on something that they, have had an idea of, we've also created pieces. But sometimes how it works is when you do have your outfit on and you pair it with a particular piece of jewelry, you have a better idea of the entire, like the complete look, like I like to say. So, versus there are 2 brides that I'm designing for this year, but I do like to send them like the initial sketches with like the color options. I do like to keep them a part of the process in its entirety because I do believe that, they will find this so much more.
It's theirs.
It's theirs.
Because they've participated in
And
it.
I'm just enabling, them to have everything that they've dreamed of on their day. So I guess it depends. There are some that are not very particular about something that they have in mind. They're okay coming and seeing what I have, and they're happy to just match it to their outfits. Versus those who have a particular idea and they're like, we just want something along the lines of like this. And that makes it easier on both them and us, either which ways.
Okay. What is the favorite part of your job?
I would say I'm slightly more partial to connecting with people and sharing our jewelry versus, the creative process. Designing is a lot of fun. I find it challenging, like the logistical aspects of like, staying up in the night, dealing with people. And there's only so much I can do from here. So I think that is a little bit of a challenge. But I would say that the entire process of seeing somebody put on a piece, seeing that smile on their face, seeing it become a part of their story, something that started off as my story, and the idea behind that piece and why I made it, and then seeing it become a part of their story, I think nothing gives me more joy than seeing that happen, than seeing them, helping them match something to their outfits, helping them design something according to their. But I think it's the expression on their face. You can see this boldness come in, this this confidence come in, and it makes me feel.
It's because you make them feel beautiful.
I mean, it's them. Like I said, it's self-expression that comes out in that. The jewelry, it just adds to what is already inherently in you. So I think it's human connection, that aspect of it, that
Is your favorite part.
brings me so much joy.
So you sell directly with brides,
Mhm.
but you've been doing a lot of shows.
Right.
How can people purchase your pieces? I know you've been at shows, etc. And we will include in our links and promotion for the podcast, any shows that you're up and coming, and keep those available. But are your pieces in any stores, or how can that they'll fall in love with the pictures? How do they buy them?
So I do have a lot of people buying directly off of Instagram. We don't have a website. I feel like there's so much more reach through social media today. We have started up a TikTok page. We're trying to get all of our existing designs and new designs come on that as well. We have an in-house studio, so there's a whole setup. We have most of our collection fits into our studio. It's not as big as I would like it to be, but we're just getting started. So we do have a lot of people come in. They take appointments, they come in. And I feel like that adds more of a personal touch again, because there's no rushing. When you come via individual appointments, you have more time to try on the pieces, to feel the quality. I do prefer people coming in, but that, I guess, just goes to local people or people that are traveling through Dallas. We do have a lot of people, like I said, buy via Instagram. I do try to put up as many designs as I can by the week. And we are, looking to do more pop-up shows the latter end of this year. We will be doing the Gem and Jewelry Convention again in October of this year. So I think I would say that our jewelry has gotten to the place where it's at because of word of mouth so far, which I'm so grateful for, because people have loved our designs. People have appreciated, the effort and time that's gone into creating these like artful pieces, unique pieces. And, at the end of the day, we want our brand to represent good quality, uniqueness, and I see people, seeing that in our brand and appreciating it. So the way that we sell is just, has been like pretty much word of mouth. Brides have told other brides. I think that's one of the reasons why I got into bridal jewelry. It was never something I considered particularly. I said I'd do it, as part of
But
the
then one
process.
asked, and then the next
It's
asked.
7 brides this year. It was 4 last year, and it's just, it's taking off from there. And like I said, it just brings me so much joy.
That's
Just see.
lovely. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us,
Absolutely.
and we will share with our listeners where you're going to be at, and as new things pop up, I'm
Right.
following you on social media. I'll make sure that I share any of the shows that
Thank you.
that I see you have up and coming, and
Mhm.
and who knows, I may stalk you some more and buy some more stuff, because I could have bought half of that booth, and my friends were like, come on, we got more to go see. It's beautiful work.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else that you are thinking of that you like? Oh, I wanted to share this story, or
I mean, if I could share a story, one of my personal favorites would be, I came in contact with somebody last year at the Gem and Jewelry Convention. She had certain pieces that were given to her by her mum, who had gotten them from her grandmother. The idea behind Anamśa Designs was also always to, preserve the cultural heritage that Indian jewelry stems from. We say that it's a part of life's milestones, in the sense of jewelry is given at the birth of a child, during engagements, weddings, um, festivals like Diwali, Holi, also family celebrations. And so we wanted to sort of create that same feeling of, legacy and heritage and memory that comes from, our grandmothers, our ancestors, and sort of incorporate all of that and share that. But like I said, without breaking, your bank accounts. So this particular lady that I came in contact with, she brought some of her pieces that were given to her by her grandmom, and she wanted to add to it. So some of her necklaces, she wanted to have more modern earrings going with them, or adding like, a bracelet or some rings, and sort of just, and she said, I don't want to let go of these, but I want to add to that so I can always keep that memory alive, but also pass it on to my children, but with a little bit of a
But
twist
adding
from,
her
yeah,
own.
adding her own. So I think the day, I spoke with her, and she was at the booth at the jewelry convention for about 2 hours. I would go see other people, come back to her, and she just took her time. She went through every single piece we had, and we matched her with so many things. So to me, that all the most stressed on the idea of this business being one of, expression and human connection, and being able to add to people's legacy. Like I would like to add to my mom's legacy someday for my daughter as well. So I think this particular lady will always stand out to me because she taught me something that
Such a
day.
great reminder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. That's a lovely story. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely reconnecting with you, and seeing you wear this jewelry again just makes me so happy. I'm happy to be here and, connect with the audiences all
Yes.
around.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Collect a dream, collect to the extreme.